Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 313 based on novel. So let's start. Master Void suddenly turned around, and his hand moved to form a seal to use a spell. However, at this moment, the All-Seer's mouth moved slightly and Master Void immediately stopped. It was as if an invisible force had suddenly interrupted his spell. Master Void's expression changed greatly, and at this moment, Ju Yi pierced through the flames toward Master Void. He was so fast that he landed on Master Void's chest in an instant. A thunder rumble echoed across the hall and he coughed out blood. He then staggered a few steps backwards. Crackling sounds came from the floor as the ground he stepped turned to powder. The sword energy dissipated and turned back into Ju Yi. His face was pale and his body was transparent as a large amount of spiritual energy had left his body. He looked as if he could disappear at any time. It seemed that although this attack had done damage to Master Void, Ju Yi was also hurt in the process. Ju Yi retreated next to Wang Wei and Hu Huan. He sent a message to Wang Lin. Wang Lin, my sword energy wasn't enough to kill him, but I caused his previous injuries to erupt and made them worse. With that, Ju Yi sat down and quickly began to heal himself. He unexpectedly took out pills from somewhere and devoured them. These pills were specially made for spirit bodies. They weren't made to look like pills and instead looked like flowing spiritual energy. Master Void's face was deathly pale. He had already been seriously injured and had suppressed his injuries along the way so they wouldn't worsen. However, thanks to Ju Yi's desperate blow, his injuries erupted once more, causing his cultivation level to fall once more. Although he wasn't down to the early stage of Nirvana Shatter yet, if his injuries worsened, he wouldn't be far off. This was the first time he had felt a chill in his heart, and he retreated a few more steps. His right hand formed a seal and quickly pointed at his body, allowing him to barely stabilize. However, this action caused him to cough out more blood. He had a ferocious expression, but he wasn't looking at Wang Lin or Ju Yi. Instead, he was locked onto the All-Seer. The All-Seer's expression remained neutral as Master Void's gaze made him feel no discomfort, and he calmly said, "Fellow cultivator Master Void, I would only dare to help you if you were brought down to such a state." With that, the All-Seer looked at Wang Wei and Hu Huan and smiled. "I hope the celestial cloud couple will give this old man face. How about we forget all personal grievances today and focus on getting to the next floor?" Ling Qianho's expression became gloomy. How could he not see that the All-Seer had secretly made a move? He silently moved next to Master Void and coldly looked at Wang Lin and company. There was also that old man on the gourd who had an indifferent expression as he looked at everyone. However, where he stood clearly showed that he would stand on the All-Seer and Master Void's side. At the same time, the girl who was suspected to be the brilliant Void Saintess stood up and went to Master Void. Her beautiful gaze swept by before landing on Wang Lin, and she softly said, "Fellow cultivator Wang, let's stop this matter today. Once you leave here, my brilliant Void realm won't participate in this matter." Aside from the man in black, everyone else had clearly picked a side. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he clasped his hands at Wang Wei. Junior was reckless. "I'll let Senior decide this matter." Although Wang Wei was not happy about Wang Lin attacking earlier, he nodded when he saw that Wang Lin knew when to stop. His gaze landed on the All-Seer and company and he calmly said, "Good. Let's put aside all personal grievances for now. The last 3 floors are filled with dangers, so please, fellow cultivators, don't hold back. After we transfer to the 7th floor, meet at the center." After Wang Wei finished speaking, the All-Seer and company smiled and nodded. Hu Huan stood up and walked next to the stone tablet. She placed her jade-like hand on the tablet and gently pressed. Purple light came from the tablet and rumbling sounds came from it as if it was shaking. In an instant, a large amount of cracks appeared on the ground and suddenly collapsed, revealing a starry sky. Everyone fell in and disappeared. As for Ju Yi, Wang Wei brought him toward the starry skylight transfer array. The 7th floor of the Celestial Emperor Cave was very different from the first 6 floors. There were no pavilions, and it was covered in a sea of flames, as if it was its own world. In this not-so-big space, There was an erupting volcano in the center, and it was surrounded by a large amount of black fog. Rumbling sounds came from the volcano and fire occasionally rained down from the sky. The ground seemed to be divided by cracks into countless pieces that floated on the magma. Black gas came out from the cracks and gave off intense heat. Everyone was scattered when they were teleported here. When Wang Lin landed, he immediately looked around and frowned. Wrong. Everything here was completely different from the 7th floor on the map. There was no resemblance at all. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy as he looked ahead and saw Hu Huan about 1,000 feet away. Hu Huan looked around, and there was also confusion in her eyes. When Wang Lin looked at her, Hu Huan also looked at Wang Lin. She had long suspected that Wang Lin had had some fortunate encounter and had become very familiar with this cave. Now that she saw Wang Lin's gaze, she let out a wry smile and shook her head. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze. It seemed Hu Huan's expression wasn't fake, and she was also confused about the changes here. The place is completely flat with only the volcano. The entrance to the 8th floor must be in the volcano. Hu Huan's voice spread out and landed in everyone's ears. Master Void was in the distance with a pale face. Even with the fiery light, his face didn't look red at all. His right hand was over his chest and bursts of pain came from it from time to time. There was a strange sword energy there that prevented the wound from healing. All-Seer, Wang Lin, and that sword spirit, I'll remember this. If I don't pay you all back 10 times, number 100 times, then I'll never give up. He gloomily looked around. Damn it, even the Celestial Emperor Cave is working against me. It unexpectedly has such powerful fire origin energy, I fear that it will benefit that little bastard. Master Void roared in his heart, but then he suddenly realized something and became covered in cold sweat. The drop in cultivation level caused my personality to change. How can I be angered so easily? Master Void took a deep breath as he suppressed the anger in his heart and forced himself to calm down. Wang Wei stepped next to Hu Huan and the two of them turned into 2 rays of light, heading toward the volcano. At this moment, the All-Seer and company also got up and charged at the volcano. The beautiful woman, the old man on the good, and the man in black flew toward the volcano. Master Void coldly stared at Wang Lin and also flew toward the volcano. Wang Lin casually moved forward in the air. He knew his cultivation couldn't match that of the old monsters before him, so would naturally not lead the charge but slowly move forward. Another person also slowed down in the distance, the suspected brilliant Void Saintess. Her beautiful eyes fell on Wang Lin and she stopped as if she was waiting for Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression was cold. When he saw the girl in pink stop, he simply went around her in an arc. He was unwilling to interact much with her and slowly closed in on the volcano. When the girl in pink saw Wang Lin move around her, she let out a snort and no longer paid him any attention but flew toward the volcano. Seeing the girl in pink leave, Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light. Although this place was different from the map, as Wang Lin slowly moved, he saw traces of celestial jade remnants within the cracks. It was obvious that countless years ago, this was the 7th layer of the Celestial Emperor Cave. It was just that some unimaginable thing had happened, causing this place to become a flaming ruin. Looking at the towering volcano, Wang Lin closed his eyes and his divine sense spread out. After a long time, he opened his eyes and was even more confident in his speculation. This volcano didn't appear out of nowhere, it was moved here by someone. The closer he got to it, the more evidence he saw that supported this idea. Wang Lin clearly saw that the rocks around the volcano were completely different from the ground. I guess everyone must have also seen something strange about the volcano. Wang Lin stood at the foot of the volcano and was in no rush to enter. His eyes lit up as he looked around until his gaze fell on the magma flowing out from the crack. The high temperature from the magma didn't make Wang Lin feel discomfort and in fact made him feel very comfortable. Even the origin energy inside his body became more active. The change here benefits me. Wang Lin's right hand reached into the magma in the crack. He immediately felt the endless fire element inside the magma. His right hand was inside the magma, and the heat from it made him very comfortable. His origin energy moved inside his body and formed a vortex. A suction force came from Wang Lin's body and he used his right hand as a bridge. The fire origin energy from the magma suddenly moved and was slowly pulled into Wang Lin's body. I have already learned the first 3 of Celestial Emperor by Fan's 6 spells. However, according to senior brother Qing Shui, the latter 3 spells contain the true essence of Bai Fan's power, and the first of those 3 is Mountain Crumbles. In the Slaughter Domain, I saw Qing Shui use it, and it was very similar to a volcanic eruption. Wang Lin pondered while he absorbed the fire origin energy and looked at the majestic volcano. To Wang Lin's right, the man in black with the hidden black dragon also didn't enter the volcano but sat down and placed his left hand inside the magma in the crack. Like Wang Lin, he was also absorbing the origin energy within the fire. He would sometimes look at Wang Lin with fear and hostility in his eyes. Vermilion Bird. If I devour the vermilion bird, will my flame dragon awaken a second time? The fire element origin energy was extremely dense in the 7th floor of the Celestial Emperor cave. In particular, the magma contained even more. As Wang Lin absorbed large amounts of fire origin energy, it entered his body and wrapped around his origin soul, nourishing his origin soul that had adapted to fire origin energy. A very comfortable feeling emerged in Wang Lin's mind. Although he had devoured a lot of pills on the 6th floor and his injuries had recovered a bit, they were still not completely healed. At this moment, as he absorbed fire origin energy, his injuries began to recover once more. Although it was slow, it gave Wang Lin hope. However, most people had already entered the inner part of the volcano, and Wang Lin let out a sigh. During the 1 month he spent healing, he had asked Wang Wei about the method of curing the 7th heaven poison. However, back in the celestial realm, Wang Wei and Hu Huan rarely came into contact with poison. Although they had heard of the 7th heaven poison and knew a bit about it, they didn't know the specifics. In the end, he still had to place his hope of curing Sichu Nan's poison on Celestial Emperor Qing Lin or Qing Shuang. Knowing that he couldn't stay on the 7th floor for too long, Wang Lin took a deep breath and the origin energy in his body moved even faster. A more powerful suction force came from his hand as he absorbed more fire origin energy before withdrawing his hand. Wang Lin jumped up and entered through the top of the volcano. The moment Wang Lin got up, the man in black also went up and headed to the top of the volcano from another direction. Wang Lin had already noticed that the man in black could also absorb fire origin energy like him. This person also had a mark between their eyebrows which made Wang Lin vigilant. Wang Lin didn't move very fast and moved up like a gentle breeze. He gradually arrived at the top of the volcano. There was a huge opening at the top of the volcano, and dense, black fog slowly spread out from inside. High temperatures filled the area. Even the rocks near the mouth of the volcano were bright red. It looked very shocking. Floating above the red rocks at the mouth of the volcano, Wang Lin's expression was neutral as the high temperature brought him no discomfort. Looking down, the inside of the mouth of the volcano was shrouded with a fiery glow and a phantom-like black smoke that occasionally could charge out. Without hesitation, Wang Lin stepped out and charged at the volcano's entrance like a meteor. Wang Lin's divine sense spread out around him when he charged in. The black smoke coming from inside the volcano suddenly disappeared. Waves of heat rushed at him. When the heat got near him, all the pores on his body opened up and absorbed the fire origin energy inside the heat. Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light and he sank even faster. Behind him, the man in black also descended but kept a certain distance. He didn't want to attract Wang Lin's killing intent for being too close. The man in black had learned that Wang Lin wasn't someone who was easy to deal with during his brief contact with him. Wang Lin was someone decisive and ruthless but also very cunning. Even the likes of Master Void had repeatedly been forced into terrible situations that caused his cultivation level to drop greatly. If anyone changed positions with Wang Lin, they would find it difficult to walk among so many powerhouses. He was even able to borrow pressure from others to suppress the enemy, causing Master Void to end up in a difficult situation. Thinking about this, the man in black felt even more dread, especially when he recalled Wang Lin's gaze and arrogant words before leaving the first floor. The aura Wang Lin had after forcing Master Void away was something the man in black couldn't forget. Moreover, although he could absorb the fire origin energy here, he was still inferior to the vermilion bird that had control over all the fire in the world. I desire to devour this person. Difficult. 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 The man in black sighed to himself. Wang Lin naturally didn't know the man in black's complex thoughts. He moved faster and faster as he constantly absorbed the heat wave coming at him. The deeper he went, the more intense the heat became. The surrounding rocks had countless cracks on them and were no longer red but dark red. This meant that the fire poison here was even stronger. The walls here weren't smooth, and they would often have rocks sticking out. Wang Lin's body flickered and landed on one of those rocks that were sticking out. The rock was dark red, and it released bursts of black gas. The moment Wang Lin stood on the rock, gravel fell off and sank into the volcano. The moment he landed, Wang Lin suddenly inhaled and the powerful heat waves below were all sucked into his mouth. It looked like Wang Lin was devouring a sea of flames. The heat turned into flame essence as it was inhaled into Wang Lin's body. Then he retreated a steps and his face turned red, but his eyes were extremely bright. The origin energy in his body moved like crazy and continued to digest the fire origin energy. After 7 minutes, Wang Lin looked up, let out a cold snort, and descended deeper into the volcano. The moment Wang Lin left, the man in black landed on this rock. There was a trace of terror in his eyes. To devour fire origin energy like this person is a madman. Fire origin energy was the most violent. The man in black knew he wouldn't dare to devour like this, he could only absorb it as if he was guiding it. Wang Lin moved faster and faster. Soon, he arrived at the bottom of the volcano. His gaze pierced the heat waves and smoke below, allowing him to see everything below. The bottom of the volcano was filled with dark red magma, it was a sea of magma. Occasionally, bubbles would swell up, and whenever one burst, an intense heat wave would charge upwards toward the top of the volcano. Black smoke also floated up and was pushed up with the heat wave. There was a palace stuck between the walls of the volcano above the sea of magma. This palace looked exactly the same as the entrance to the next floor in the last 6 floors. However, at this moment, the gate was closed and a complex word was drawn on it with black blood. This extravagant word looked like a tattoo but also didn't. Just looking at it gave off a crazy feeling, as if it could turn the world upside and reverse the heavens. The moment Wang Lin saw the word, his eyes suddenly narrowed. He recognized the word as it was the language that belonged to the ancient god clan. It was also the language of the ancient demon and ancient devil clan. Devil. It was the word devil. At this moment, outside the palace, Wang Wei, Hu Huan, and Bei Lu formed a group and the All-Seer and company formed another. They floated in the air and stared at the gate of the palace. Ling Qianhu, the old man on the good, and the beautiful woman were constantly using spells to constantly attack the gate. However, due to the heat, the sounds from the impacts were fragmented. The sounds weren't able to spread far and weren't able to echo. Wang Lin's arrival caused Master Void to raise his head, and a trace of killing intent appeared in his eyes. However, he quickly suppressed it. Wang Lin moved next to Wang Wei and Hu Huan. He looked at the gate and frowned. At this moment, Ling Qianhu let out a roar and the 4 origin swords behind him crashed into the door. The word, devil, on the door flashed intensely, but it showed no signs of taking any damage. I can't open the seal to enter the 8th floor. Ling Qianhu let out a cold snort and retreated. The beautiful woman and the old man on the god also shook their heads and gave up. Wang Wei and Hu Huan also frowned. They had tried it before and couldn't break it either. With this seal here, they wouldn't be able to enter the palace. Wang Lin stared at the word, devil, on the gate of the palace. He knew that with these old monsters here, there was obviously no need for him to do anything. He sat down on a rock not far away before closing his eyes and beginning to cultivate. Although he was cultivating, he was still on guard. Not far away from Wang Lin, the girl in pink stood on a rock slightly lower than Wang Lin. Countless snowflakes surrounded her, resisting the high temperature. The rock below her feet even showed signs of freezing. Time slowly passed. The man in black that was behind Wang Lin had arrived a long time ago. He cautiously floated on the side and stared at the palace while pondering. The word, devil, on the palace gate contained an unimaginable sealing force. Almost everyone, including Wang Wei, Hu Huan, the All-Seer, and even Bei Lu, took turns attacking in succession. In the end, both sides attacked at once, and the sounds of the attack unexpectedly broke through the heat waves. The echoes formed caused large amounts of rocks to fall from the volcano. The rumbling sounds echoed even louder as everyone continued to attack. In the end, the sounds merged together and even echoed outside the volcano. If you were outside the volcano, you would be able to hear the muffled rumbles. In the end, with a final attack from Bei Lu, all of the spells gathered into a massive storm that swept toward the palace. There was a heaven-shattering rumble, and the whole volcano seemed to tremble. The magma below raged as if there was an earthquake. The word, devil, on the palace suddenly collapsed. The gate opened. However, a shocking change occurred the moment the gate opened. The moment the word, devil, dissipated and the gate opened, the sea of magma below suddenly began to churn violently. Bursts of muffled roars came from the magma and then, with a bang, the magma below charged up into the sky. It was as if an unimaginable force was pushing the magma up. The volcano was erupting. A temperature several times higher than before suddenly emerged when the magma charged up. The intense temperature even caused a lot of the surrounding rocks to immediately fracture. Before they could even fall, they were turned into black gas and pushed up. At this moment, if you looked at the volcano from the outside, you would see that the volcano was trembling and black smoke several times stronger was coming out. Large amounts of black smoke rushed out into the air as if it wanted to cover the entire sky. As the black smoke was sprayed out, it covered the entire sky in almost an instant, not allowing any light to penetrate through. Only the magma between the cracks of the earth glowed, vaguely lighting up the area. The moment the door opened inside the volcano, Bei Lu rushed out into the palace as the magma rushed up. Everyone else regained their senses and followed him. However, everyone's speed was a bit slower, and the monstrous magma rushed up. If this was it, it wouldn't be enough to scare these powerful cultivators. However, as the magma passed by, a giant arm reached out and grabbed the beautiful woman. The beautiful woman exclaimed and wanted to dodge, but she was too slow before the hand. She was shrouded by flames in an instant and was pulled into the magma. This sudden scene shocked the hearts of the surrounding cultivators. However, this wasn't over yet. As the magma rushed out, a roar came out from the magma and echoed around like a sonic boom. This caused the surrounding rocks to collapse even more. As the roar echoed, a purplish-red coffin came out from the raging magma. The roar from the coffin became even stronger. Wang Wei and Hu Huan's expressions changed greatly. The two of obviously knew about the coffin. Without hesitation, the two of them each formed a seal and joined the seals together. They became transparent and instantly passed everyone as they charged into the palace. The moment they entered the palace, the coffin collapsed and scattered into countless pieces that fell on everyone. At the same time, a red-robed old man walked out from the coffin. This red-robed old man contained no vitality and was filled with death aura. The moment he appeared, he charged toward everyone. The All-Seer's eyes lit up and his mouth moved as if he was saying something. Then the red-robed old man suddenly stopped. Taking advantage of the red-robed old man's pause, the All-Seer waved his sleeves and charged at the palace. Just at this moment, the red-robed old man's body collapsed and a roar came out from within. Then a sea of flames appeared and turned into a fire dragon that attempted to devour everyone. The expression of the girl in pink surrounded by the snowflakes turned pale as she rushed toward the palace. However, before she could enter, her body turned into a ray of light and was inhaled by the fire dragon. Seeing that everyone was charging toward the palace and not worrying about others, Wang Lin had already left the rock and shot toward the palace. However, just as he was about to enter the palace, Master Void, who was the last person to enter the palace, suddenly turned around and coldly stared at Wang Lin. Before Master Void could attack, the fire dragon arrived. The fire dragon was so big that it could devour the entire palace. Wang Lin felt a powerful suction force, and he was devoured along with the palace by the fire dragon. The fire dragon devoured everything and then charged into the magma. The magma began churning even more violently when the dragon dove into it. The magma continued to surge up faster and faster until it erupted out from the volcano and covered the sky. Then the magma fell as balls of fire onto the ground. Only after a long time did everything end and the volcano stopped erupting, leaving only black smoke coming out. The magma sank back down and the bottom of the volcano became quiet once more. However, the palace was now missing. At this moment, in the deepest part of the magma, the palace devoured by the fire dragon appeared. However, now it was surrounded by magma, so even if you were inside the palace, you could feel the intense heat. Wang Lin's figure appeared in the magma in the distance. The heat coming from the magma not only didn't injure him, it made his injuries even better. The magma was thick, and it surrounded Wang Lin with an indescribable amount of fire origin energy. The vermilion bird tattoo on this body shined brightly and even let out vermilion bird cries. He sat down and gradually sank to the bottom of the magma. He was about 10,000 feet away from the palace. Both of his hands formed a seal and dense fire origin energy entered his body. As he absorbed, his body turned red, and time slowly passed. After an unknown amount of time, Wang Lin opened his eyes. The surroundings were completely quiet. Not only was the origin energy inside his body not restrained, it became even more vigorous. While pondering, Wang Lin didn't immediately leave but continued to cultivate. This was a very precious chance for him. It would be very difficult for him to find another place with such rich fire origin energy. Wang Lin closed his eyes and continued to absorb fire origin energy. Time passed. As Wang Lin absorbed, the amount of magma gradually reduced. During this time, Wang Lin awakened 3 times, and all 3 times were because the intense fluctuations of magma caused the volcano to erupt. Whenever he awakened, he would carefully watch the eruption of the volcano. After the eruption was complete, he would immerse himself in absorbing once more. On this day, Wang Lin awakened for the 4th time. Although the magma still had endless fire origin energy left, Wang Lin no longer dared to continue absorbing. As he absorbed the fire origin energy, he gradually became one with the magma, and he vaguely felt that there was a strange spirit inside the magma. If he absorbed too much, it would be easy to disturb that strange spirit. According to Wang Lin's analysis, that strange spirit should be the fire dragon that devoured everything. While pondering, Wang Lin slowly stood up and walked toward the palace in the magma. However, after a few steps, Wang Lin suddenly stopped as he saw a bubble slowly closing in on the palace. After carefully looking at the bubble, Wang Lin's expression became strange, and at the same time, the cultivators inside it saw Wang Lin. There were 2 people inside the bubble. They were the girl in pink and the beautiful woman who was devoured by fire dragon. The beautiful woman was unconscious and her whole body glowed red, it seemed like she was on the edge of death. As for the girl in pink, the snowflakes around her had disappeared. There was a snowflake rune flashing between her eyebrows that released bursts of cold energy that allowed her to survive inside the bubble. She immediately saw Wang Lin approaching, and surprise and horror filled her eyes. Although she knew about Wang Lin's vermilion bird awakening, she didn't think that Wang Lin wouldn't be injured at all inside this magma, and he moved as if he was on land. No wonder those people were so terrified of the 4 divine sect. It seems that after the vermilion bird awakened, he unexpectedly gained a terrifying resistance to fire. The girl in pink stared at Wang Lin. She had been stuck in the magma for several months and was unable to move too fast. Fortunately, she was able to find the beautiful middle-aged woman, but she had been unconscious this whole time and her body was filled with a strange flame. The girl wasn't able to awaken the beautiful woman. Although she was able to protect herself from the magma with the treasure her senior sister had given her, moving forward was difficult. It had taken several months for her to find the palace, but she didn't expect to see Wang Lin here. When she saw Wang Lin, the girl in pink felt her heart skip a beat and became anxious. She quickly controlled the bubble and charged straight for the palace. Due to the sudden acceleration, the bubble became unstable and seemed like it could collapse at any time. However, the girl in pink couldn't care about that anymore, and she quickly closed in on the palace. Wang Lin's expression was indifferent as he stepped toward the bubble the girl in pink and the beautiful woman were in. As he quickly closed in, the girl in pink became even more anxious. She didn't know what Wang Lin was thinking, but she knew Wang Lin and the beautiful woman's group had conflict in the past. She thought he was coming here to kill the beautiful woman. When the girl in pink saw that Wang Lin was only few hundred feet away, She quickly shouted, "Wang Lin, you have a feud with Master Void, the two of us has no feud with you." This video will end here.